stuck around for the last few comics. A warm welcome for your friend, Dano Buendia, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Yeah. I'm a recent implant to the Bay Area. I moved to Redwood City recently, and I didn't think it was like much of a town until President Obama came to visit. President Obama, who I kindly let that boy touch his hair, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. If I could ever meet him, it would be so cool to do that. And I saw him because he visited, and so I ran up to him and I said, Mr. President, would it be okay if I touched your hair? And he was like, why would you want to do that? And I said, I wanted to see if your hair feels like my bush. I feel racist when I tell that joke because Bush hates black people. So anyway, cat jokes. I was listening to a podcast from Mark Maron, who's a big cat fan, and I listened to his podcast. It's WTF, which is awesome. Maybe some of you have heard it. And he said a term the other day, or one of the back podcasts, that I was really offended at. I was trying to process it and let it go, but then he said it again. And so that term was Jap, which, yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, I'm not Japanese, but look how close I got. So I was trying to process it, and then I realized that Mark Maron is actually Jewish, and he wasn't referring to Jap as Japanese people, but Jewish American princess. And then all of a sudden I felt racist myself, because I was like, well, I should know the plight of a young little girl in the US trying to announce to the people that she's menstruating to the world and having a bat mitzvah. Oy vey. I was driving out of my apartment complex the other day, and I saw this boy, and he was in this car. He's about 3 or 4 years old, in this BMW, and I was driving away, and I thought, well, that's really weird. That doesn't make any sense. And so I drove probably about a block before somebody actually came out and was with the little boy, and I thought, well, that's horrible. But when you ask these people, like, why would you do something like that? Their response is always like, well, what can happen? What can happen? Well, I'll tell you what can happen. Maybe you sit there and you leave the boy there, and then a couple drives by, and they say, you know, there's a little boy there, and we're having trouble having a little boy. So let's raise this boy for ourselves. So they take this little boy, and they go and raise this boy for themselves, and he becomes a really fine young man. And this woman, because she's divorced now, because she's lost a child, it was too much for the marriage to bear. She becomes kind of a cougar. She's trying to fill the space inside her heart. And she finds a young man that makes her feel whole, and it turns out to be her son. So maybe you don't leave your child in the car. So I love dog training. The other day I was training a dog. If you've ever trained a dog before, you give them a treat, and you give them a treat when they're to give them positive reinforcement for something they're doing. So could you imagine this is the case if you were at work and they were to do that? So you're just sitting there typing away on this report, and somebody comes in the cube, great job, Johnson, and they shove like a bunch of biscuits in your face, and you're like, oh, not very much. Or even better, you're at home and you're with a partner and you're having a little something, and she's doing a great job, so she grabs cheese in your face because it's a high value treat, and you're just giving your face. And so I almost choked in bed the other day, because that's how good I am. All right, that's my time. Thanks very much.
Dano Buendia, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for him. He's your friend. You better give it up for him. You're goddamn right. Guys, we're down to our last